I'm Kevin Cole from KEXP, and joining me today, Martin Atkins, who has been involved in numerous incredible musical projects, drumming for Public Image Limited, Pigface, Killing Joke, Nine Inch Nails, Ministry, just to mention a few. But, Martin, you've also had a ton of other experience, from founding a record label to being a producer, set designer, band manager, film documentarian, and professor.
Yeah.
Teacher, author. You have this book, Tour Smart, and tell me what you set out to do with this.
Well, first off, thank you. I'm also a father of four and an appalling DJ.
Really?
Really bad DJ.
Is that how mashups? You do your mashups just
No,
accidentally?
No, I do my mashups in the studio, and I like doing that. But then when I actually spin them, it's chaos. How did I set out to write the book? I started teaching by accident. I went up to Columbia College in Chicago to get some interns to help us with a 3-bus, 5-band tour that we were putting on. We had 80,000 promotional postcards, 20,000 promotional CDs, and we were hand labeling all of them with regional information. And I just remember thinking, this is crazy.
Not scalable. It's not going to happen.
Right.
You need
we need some
team,
students.
Right? Yeah.
We need some free help here. Let me go up to Columbia and get some. So I did a presentation to the faculty, and they said, this is fantastic. When can you start? And I'm like, I can start now. Taking kids. They're like, no, when could you start teaching this? And I'm like, and I nearly said, I can't, I'm busy. And I actually had this thing in my head, like, hold on a minute. How often is this going to happen? So I'm like, okay, maybe it's just a short class. How long's the class? 7 hours. Okay. Maybe it starts in like 3 months' time. When does it start? 2 days from now.
Wow, 7 hours in one
day
session?
Yeah, and sometimes I'll go without a break, and the students just like,
I know.
They just want to jump out the window. They're like, this doesn't make any sense. I'm like, no, if we're flowing, we'll go.
Yeah.
And we'll leave an hour early instead of breaking for lunch. If we're in the flow, we'll just go with it, deal with it. Because being in the music business is like an episode of The Most Dangerous Catch. You know, when there's crabs, and this is where it gets ugly. Right. When there's crabs, they fish or they crab.
Yeah, you just
they're
gotta
crabbing.
Go for it.
Right. They go for like
'em.
32 hours because there's times when there aren't any crabs. You know, I saw an episode where this guy almost sliced his thumb off, and he's like, "Okay, a bit of insulating tape. Boom, 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 boom. Here we go. Don't want to lose my thumb." You know, and that's what the music business is like. That's what any business is like.
Okay, or I was going to ask, is that what lecturing is like? Like, is your brain like fishing? And when you hit a school of great thoughts that just keep flowing and coming, do you keep trolling there?
Okay, we have to stop with the fishing analogy, because I threw a line out there and my bobber is going now. It's like my ice fishing lure is dinging on the. I don't know. We have to stop.
Okay,
with the
no
fishing.
more fishing.
No more fishing analogies. Although I've got a really long pole, I could anyway. So I started to create materials for the class because the textbook they were using was written in 1962. So I hit a student upside the head with it, and I'm like, how can you sit there and pay for an education and be taught from a book that's written in 1962? So I started to put the essence of a textbook together, and then that was done quite quickly. But there's 100 other people in the book. I wanted more opinions than mine, that's unusual for a record label owner to go, I need other people's opinions. I blackmailed Henry Rollins.
Yeah, I was impressed. There's some great folks in this book.
Yeah, well, so a bunch of friends, acquaintances, and I think I used my leverage, whatever leverage I have, to get contributions. Henry Rollins wanted a obscure PIL track for his radio show. I'm like, absolutely, Henry, no problem. I'll just need that top 10 do's and don'ts from you, and I'll just, that's, so there's 100 other contributors, and then it started to take a while. But once we got sex and drugs and the poetry, the stress, touring as a family man, how to be a better opening band, some different subjects than you would think, how to, being a girl on the road, which is not a really 2009 subject for the book, but rock and roll isn't 2009, it's 1982, and that section needed to be in there, so by the time we finished, it was nearly 3 years and 600 pages.
Well, it's a hefty book, and there's some great contributions and some great quotes. And you've got one on the back of the book here that says, "There are no airbags in the music industry. When it goes wrong, your head is going through the windshield." So,
Right.
tell me about the biggest mistakes artists and bands make.
Understanding that it's good to have ambition because and it's good to be slightly crazy because it's a crazy business. I was watching Slipknot. It seems like there's 14 guys on stage. I mean, that doesn't make sense. If the accountants come in and try and make sense of your band, I'm like, let's do a 2 or 3 piece and see how it goes. But Slipknot's 100 people on stage going crazy. And that's what they are. So there are places where things need to not make sense. But in terms of planning and geography and miles per gallon and just being smart about the risks you're taking, you need to be smart with those risks.
Do a lot of bands set out without a plan? Like they say, I'm gonna, they make the music and then, okay, we got to go on tour. Let's just get in, rent a van and go. I mean,
yeah, and the same attitude. So there needs to be almost a schizophrenic kind of mindset. Like, crazy's good on stage. At 10 in the morning, when we're deciding if we need an oil change or not, you either need an oil change or you don't. You don't apply crazy stage guy going, no, let's fill the oil tank with marmalade. Right, that's stage guy. Is it 3,000 miles? And let's be on the safe side. It's 2,800. We've put some hard miles on the vehicle. Change the oil.
Now, isn't that what a band manager's for?
Well, no. A band manager's for messing things up and embezzling all the money and going what? No, you guys should have changed the oil. Didn't I tell you?
Do you recommend that bands take control of pretty much all aspects of what? Beyond the music, there's so much more to being a success, at least. Is your advice that artists and bands just control everything to the best extent they can?
Not control everything because they can't. I like the phrase, only leave chance to chance. Anything that you can research and put in some infrastructure, sweat, blood, tears, whatever, to take the edge off, you better do that. I think good managers are great. Bad managers are catastrophically appalling. And I think that a band that, not a band that decides to control everything, but a band that takes responsibility for everything, divides up the labor between the members of the band. When it gets time where they've booked some shows, they'll find a better manager. They'll be able to give that manager a bunch of parameters. For some reason, when we're in Eugene, it's Tuesday night for us in Eugene. Every other night we've played, it doesn't work. When we have cookies or free beer, there's twice the attendance. Our audience are all extra large shirt sizes. Great information that you'll find incrementally, and you'll build up a picture of what's important to your band off stage and on stage, and help a manager help you better. So a band that takes responsibility for all of these areas will be able to get a better manager, more information and get a better agent, more information and ideas and get a better producer. Boom. But it's a lot of work. It's not rocket science, rocket surgery. It's not rocket surgery.
It's the same thing.
Yeah. It's just a ton of little things, and give everybody little responsibilities, different areas.
Manageable chunks.
Yeah. And there you go.
Can you still make money in the music world?
Yes, you can, but it can't be your primary reason for being in it, because if you let go of that, it's momentum that fuels everything. If people like you and you start to gain some momentum, you can get money. if you have money, you can't always get momentum. You know, ask anybody at RCA Records. You know, so you've just got to get good at your craft and understand it might be years before you start to break even. You know, so don't give up your day jobs. You know, being a professional musician doesn't mean giving up your day job and sitting on the couch and going, oh God, that's being unemployed. You know, I quit my job when I was 16 because I was doing 9 shows a week. I was playing every night and backing strippers on a Saturday and Sunday afternoon when I was, I don't know, too young. So that's a professional musician. Not doing anything else isn't being a professional musician. It's just being unemployed.
Yeah, just having your gig once a week. So you, Invisible Records has been around 20 plus years now.
Yeah, this is the 20th year.
Congrats.
Thank you.
If you were going to start a label now, would you start a label now?
That's really difficult. I started the label not because I thought I could do a fantastic job, but I knew for a fact I couldn't mess things up any more than so-called professionals had done to me on my behalf, whatever.
Part of your aesthetic and sort of the underwriting advice I get in this is just part of being involved to the extent that you can be involved. You're not going to do it any worse than somebody else is going to muck it up for you.
Right, and if you do mess things up, if you make your own T-shirts or make your own album or make the own cover to your CD, to the extent that it's sloppy or there's a fingerprint or a smudge, people will forgive you because you, the person in the band making the music, made the cover, right? So if one of my kids made lasagna, I'm not going to sit there like that guy from Kitchen, you know?
Hell's Kitchen.
Hell's Kitchen. Go, oh, no. Oh, this is horrible. Oh, no. The noodles are al dente. Blah, blah. The sauce is appalling. You're like, hey, my son made lasagna. You know, that's how people treat you when you try as an artist. And I think too many artists try and pretend that they're signed to a huge major label and professional. You know, it's not about that.
Do your kids make music?
No, they do rock band. One of my boys just got accepted into an acting school.
Nice.
And one of my other boys is making stop action Transformer YouTube videos.
Cool.
Yeah, so they're creative, but thank goodness not in the music business.
What kind of advice would you have in terms of distributing music now to artists just getting started?
Back of your vehicle.
Really?
That's the old style way. That's the way that makes sense. There you are with people that you just magnetized to a venue, who heard your music or got your email or you found in the shopping mall and told to come and gave them a flyer. That's the time to sell your music to somebody. There's never a better time than right then and there, and you just keep doing that, and that's it. Eventually, people will start ordering from on the internet. But if you're trying to get a quantity of music into a store, that style of distribution just doesn't feel like it's working to me anymore.
Radio, does radio matter anymore?
I think it does. It's not in the same way that I think you think it's going to matter. Radio, certain people on the radio are filters. And like John Peel used to be in the UK, it's like, all right, what is this guy going to play to me? What is this guy going to expose me to on this very interesting journey? Those stations are few and far between now, but there are shows that you can hear some really interesting music.
As an artist starting out, how important is it to identify those filters out there, whether they be on the radio or in print media or online, or just in any new sort of way people are getting information out, identifying those sources, those filters, and getting them content and managing relationships with them?
Well, it's important, but something I say a lot is that you pour gasoline where there's a spark, right? You don't go, okay, it's Rolling Stone magazine, Billboard, boom, boom, and try and spend 5 years trying to get a review when here's a kid who just started a fanzine, and 5 years from now, that could be the next Rolling
And
Stone.
that kid's digging your stuff.
Right, and that happened to me when the first time we came over with PIL. I was in Boston, and I got a call from a 12-year-old kid. He started a fanzine called Conflict, and he tracked us down to the hotel, and I did an hour-long interview with him, and then Conflict became kind of underground, and then Gerald Cosloy, who started Conflict, started Matador Records. So I'll call Gerald every few years and go, "Hey, what the hell's going on, dude?" And that's a connection that formed because I talked to a 12-year-old.
Nice.
So you pour gasoline where there's a spark. Anybody that's interested in you, you better be interested in them. And that's it. Doesn't matter that they're not Billboard and not Rolling Stone. They're interested in you. So if they have a cookery magazine, then do a 5-hour interview with them, because who else are you? What are you, so busy? You can't talk to somebody for 5 hours and share some recipes. You pour gasoline where there's a spark, then you have a fire.
That's great advice. Martin Atkins
Brian,
here.
please call 249. Brian, 249.
We'll call later, okay?
Should we start again? Yeah, let's start again. Hi, Martin Atkins here.
Thank you so much. And what's
Thank you.
what's the one bit of advice you'd give, like the overriding fundamental piece of advice you'd give to somebody?
One thing. Well, buy the book. It's $20. That's a no-brainer. But I'd say don't do it. Don't get into the music business, because anybody who goes, oh dear, oh never mind then. Well, they shouldn't be in the music business. Anybody
You
who
have to ask yourself that question.
right.
Yeah.
Anybody else who's supposed to be in the music business, go, Martin Atkins is an idiot. I'm not listening to his advice. I'm supposed to be doing this. Then fine. So it's just that's an initial filter just to weed out some people who shouldn't be doing this.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Cool. Thank you.